What is up, internet? You can call me Flare for short, it's what I go by, but I'm finally doing a breakdown video. I feel like I should have done one of these years ago, and I'm not sure why I'm only starting to do this now. I'm hoping to do this more though. I'm hoping to do more videos, I'm hoping to post more content, and I hope y'all want to see more of the person behind the music. So in this video, I'm going to be going over Spicy, one of my songs from my new Pyrotechnic EP, my first dubstep EP, actually, that just came out July 3rd. 5 tracks in it. Would go listen to it if you haven't already. So in this breakdown, I'm just gonna kind of go over things piece by piece. This project file is a bit big. It took me 2 years to make, and it says 18 hours in the project file. F minor, 145 BPM. You've seen it before if you know dubstep. That's about the average BPM and key. I just want to go over the drums, vocals, effects, bass, leads, chords, ARP, instruments, and then the background stuff, and then we'll call it a video. So, some effects, and we start off with a nice little... You get it. Basically, just wanted to do something simple, but have a little bit of a nice rhythm in here. Not just your average pattern, but just some extra little bits and stuff here and there. Did my own custom hi-hats, some drum fills and such. As we move over to, I'd say, the build-up, because kind of builds that snare for a bit. With my buildups, I like to take a lot of the different samples I'm using and even basses or vocals and pitch them up. This can include even atmospheres as well. We'll get to that. Yeah, I have that funky little perk right there. The snare. Even the kick kind of pitching up with the buildup. This kind of just makes it to where the entire buildup feels like it's actually leading up to something, so it's not just flat. A lot of buildups I've heard in EDM, some of them don't really feel like they're always going somewhere, so I try to not saying I'm doing anything better than them, but I'm hoping that, my buildups kind of lead into the drop a little bit better. For the drop drums, it's pretty much like the intro. I change out the kick and snare though. Now, these drums feel maybe a little bit overblown for me in 2026. I started writing this in 2024. I would have gone with a bit more of a cleaner and more complex route with this, but this is what I'm going over today, so I'm not really sure what I should say about these drums. They're just drums. Basic dubstep drums, essentially. I didn't use any loops. Obviously, you can tell everything I picked is handpicked. And I guess I could go over the mixer channels as well. For this kick, I really should have done a lot more mixing, but I didn't. Could have gone in here and I could have added just a bit more, but there's just a little EQ and a soft clipper. I probably would have done just a bit more shaping to it, but again, I really wanted to get this EP out and I hadn't been checking everything. I felt pretty comfortable with all of the songs in the EP when releasing it, but yeah, a little bit outdated. Moving on, because there's not really too much with the drop. It kind of just introduces that ride cymbal. We then have a side trance part that comes in midway through the track. Kind of simple stuff. Just a nice kick. I introduce a hat. And slowly starts to come in. And then a clap. Kind of giving that bass house sort of sound. And it's back to the chorus drums again. As we know from before, looks like in this second drop, I did a fake out with more snares. So I let it rise up again into the drop. And then same drop drums as before, and I ended off with a little bit of a chiptune loop. Yeah, that's the drums. All right, moving on to the vocals. I used this Cloud None vocals. This was one of like the first things I think I put in the project when first making it. I kind of wanted that like old classic dubstep sound when making this song, so I was trying to just use this kind of just over and over again. It kind of set a really fun atmosphere, so yeah, shout out to Cloud None for that. And of course, the cymatics vocal, can't live without them. Yeah, I took this little vocal chop and I chopped them up, and then I guess I had two different ones in here. Something I was going to say is I have this effect going on with the vocals, an M auto pitch, where I am automating the formant shift. This is actually inspiration from Dion Timmer. Dion Timmer does this within his own music, where he changes the formant of the vocals, kind of in this automated wave kind of progression. I really like the way it sounds. Just kind of set more of that old classic dubstep vibe. In the second part of the chorus, I introduce a little chant. This is one of my signature chants that I use in quite a bit of my songs. I just find it simple and easy to use. And of course, because this is a bit of an older song, I did have a little bit of memery in this. I had some memes going on. I was pretty happy to finally upload something with a bit of humor mixed in. It's been a while since I've done that, so yeah. And you can see some of the effects I used here. A bit of a band filter EQ going on here. Some pitch stuff kind of slowly rising. And then a bit of that laugh, like right at the end. The chant for the drop is a little bit more extreme and like louder than the one in the intro, because I really wanted that to like shine through. That one just got a little bit of delay on it. I have a delay bus here, actually. This was for a few different things. If I go back down here to review some of these, we have the signature spicy sample. Mamma mia, that's a spicy. And I am using a bit crush. Mamma mia, that's a spicy. And of course a delay as well. That's a spicy. Very loud vocal chop right there. But yeah, so just kind of filling in some of the drop with a bit of the vocals. Of course, I have the Cloud None one that's continuing as well. Kind of quietly in the background of the drop. That's a spicy. And yeah, to make this other version of the spicy vocal, I turned the ring mod all the way up and then the frequency all the way down, and kind of gave it that nice low texture sound kind of in the background of the drop, so that was pretty fun. This kind of just repeats, same vocals being used. Yeah, and these repeat as well to the chorus. Yeah, and then in the second build up, I'm using a little bit of a slightly different section of that meme where he's laughing. And so for this effect here, where I'm going into the build-up, I'm sure many people probably thought this was like just delay, but I'm actually doing this sample trick manually, and I'm just turning down the modulation X, which is just a filter. It just kind of takes some of the highs away. That kind of sets up a pretty fun little fake out for the second drop. I like the way like glitched out vocals kind of sound, so this was fun. Yeah, the vocals kind of just repeat as they did before. At the end, we get a bit of an extra vocal. It's a bit too spicy, bruv. Come on. Kind of just having some fun with that. We have a bit of effects. I try to consolidate as many channels as I can, so that's probably why stuff looks kind of weird and wonky with its organization, but I'm just using some slight little ear candies. These are actually some computer glitch Foley I made. These are just from different past sessions where I would record in samples and throw all kinds of effects onto a sound and render that out. Some more fun little sound effects. Some build-up stuff from Ominous. There's a fun little sound. Yeah, so a lot of different little dubstep sound effects going on here. Some growls and lasers and hits and stuff. Very chiptune as I keep my stuff pretty video game themed. Kind of change up the rhythm a bit here. So yeah, it sounds very random, but like in the drop, it's all got a purpose, all got a meaning to it. Yeah, there's just some more little sound effects going on. A lot of these like match spark kind of sounding samples, keeping the sort of fire theme going on for the entire EP. And there's some of that fire crackle sound. Back to the build up. And yeah, pretty much the same sound effects you use in this drop as well. It's kind of copy and paste. The main things that changed about these two drops were the basses themselves. So we will get onto that next, because why not? That's the most important part of this entire breakdown is probably the bass. Let's just go on to that. In this intro, just introducing a really big Reese, actually. I have a Reese and sub going on back to back. Of course, with this Reese, I have taken out the lows, like the subs. You want those lows still, but took out the subs. Have some distortions going on here. Actually got this one for free back in 2019. And this one is of course free on Cymatics. Just some nice distortion. I just realized that in the recording, Vital does not really load. Not entirely sure why it looks like this. Okay, yeah. So I had to go ahead and fix something within my OBS. Now, Vital should be showing up. Yeah, okay. We're all good. So yeah, I have this Reese going. Just some saws in unison as usual with that nice distortion on it. I usually try to take out a lot of like 400s or 1000s when making background sounds, because this helps to make them more background as like leads and stuff kind of fill in those frequencies that I'm taking out. So yeah, this bass just kind of continues. I slowly let it filter out a little bit. Until it's like nothing but sub bass, and then it goes into the break. And now onto this buildup, I bring in some of the bass from the drop to kind of like tease it. Obviously by itself it's a little silly, but in the context, we have that. On to the most exciting part of the entire video, which is the bass. We have this. I did not save this as a preset, so this is completely new for this song. It is this little guy. A bit of a yoy. So I'm using 2 sine waves and just kind of automating the volume and some of the filter and resonance of this band 12 filter. And I have some FMA going on, classic dubstep. Nothing's changed about the octaves or pitch or anything like that. I just have some downsampling happening and some compressor and EQ. And I'm just kind of making it a little bit wider. This does use Serum 1 because I did start this project in 2024. And Serum 2 did not come out until it was like February of 2025. I was still using Serum 1. Serum 1 is fine. It's just, it does look and feel a little outdated for me now, since I am using more of Serum 2, which I've gotten a lot more comfortable with. So most of these sounds are in Serum 1. I would go over like a bit of this. The entire mixing chain is pretty much full except for slot 7. Just taking out some of the subs. Again, this is a bit my older mixing. I'm not sure really why I did this. Could have gone in there and fixed it, but I left it as it is, I guess. If it's not broken, don't fix it. OTT, some more Diablo light. I used to really like using this on a lot of sounds. I don't know why. I think I was just excited that I had like some new distortion plugin. I was seeing that people were using distortion on sounds and stuff, and so I just kind of threw it on there. Nowadays, I'd use something more like Camel Crusher. That's a bit better for like basses and stuff. Like Diablo light should only be used maybe on like a drum or something, like a kick. I have some reverb. This is just to add a little bit more room. Again, nowadays I'd use less reverb. This is going to be outdated, so this is like so cringe for me to go over, but yeah. I think the frequency shifter in this, oh, it scared the crap out of me. I wasn't even trying to play it. Frequency shifter in this was just used for the build-up. I didn't really automate any frequency throughout the drop. I could have, but I guess I didn't really think to do that. I'm using a lot of EQs to do just very minor fixes, which is interesting. Now nowadays, I probably wouldn't do that. I'd probably just stick to 1 or 2 for very specific things. But again, I don't know exactly what I was going for on this, but it sounds fine. Moving on from that bass, there's this one as well. Let me just play it by itself. Now this one I did actually save. There's a lot of reverb on that. Yeah, just more FM and stuff going on, some volume filters. I actually have a sub on this one this time, just add in more lows, and I'm FMing this oscillator B, which is at 0. Again, pretty much nothing changed with the pitch, except this is down an octave. Got a pretty noisy wavetable going on here, and kind of similar mixing with most of my basses. I add the dimension expander, just kind of bring it out more in your face. I use diode 1 on this. I feel like diode 1 is a really good distortion for just really getting basses to crunch and to be louder. And a really good technique I have for basses that I've been doing for a while is this phaser technique, where I set the frequency really low and then I modulate it upward. And this, you can kind of tell it gives it some more breath, some more life. So yeah, that's with it on. It sounds a lot better. There's a little bit of like delay, I guess, going on in this. Yeah, not much to hear from that, but yeah, compressor and just some EQ. Just shaping the sound up a bit more. Again, I would have made this sound a lot more clean in Serum 2, but wasn't using Serum 2 at that time because it was not out yet. The third thing in this, yeah. Another thing I did within a lot of my older sort of Brittom, Brostep stuff was these background sort of basses to kind of fill in. This one's just going crazy. A lot of really wild stuff happening here with this one, with, again, more diode 1 distortion, EQ, and filtering, kind of just shaping the sound. I guess I was experimenting with the +4 octaves and some more FMing, a bit of more of an ominous kind of rhythm sound or something. This one... Yeah, so this was not really my original preset, but I did edit it. There's some slight differences within this. This was from some sample pack or preset pack, something like that. I just went in and kind of did some of my own editing here with FM and some of my own mixing styles and such. So, pretty nice wonky sound there. And then at the end of this, we have a very crushed sound. Original sound or a preset from Lux. Just extra little filler sound in there. And then my sub bass, which I've been using Vital for my sub bass. I think when it comes to using Vital, I mostly just use it for my sub bass and Reese's now. I find that the lower harmonics sound cleaner on Vital than on Serum. I think Serum 2 has a bit of a better sample rate than Serum 1 did, so I could start using Serum 2 for my sub bass, but I've just been using Vital since it actually runs a bit faster. It's less of a load on FL to load this than Serum 2. Serum 2 does take a bit for FL to run. It's not too bad though. I have a pretty good PC, I would say, that it can handle a lot of Serum 2s and Serum 1s on this, of course. But yeah, so sub bass. I have it modulating just a little bit of pitch, no unison, just a little bit of multiband, a little bit of release on there. Then we have these laser sounds, kind of fill in the end sections here. There's a bit of a 808. It's kind of made up of a bunch of different sounds. I guess I use this kind of a kick, sort of laser 808 thing. I essentially made this myself at some point. I think I had made it for a past song called Fatal Error, but I used it in this one as well. This EP kind of brings back that Fatal Error sort of Brittom sound. I use this little laser. Again, one of my own presets. No effects on it, surprisingly. Just all in the main board here. And another Serum. Kind of a lead laser sort of sound. That's pretty fun. At the end there, we have a new growl. So I've been using this sort of growl preset since I made my song Starstruck back in 2021, which, long story, but I had wound up losing all my project files in 2021 and I had to remake everything after that point. And so the Starstruck growl was one of the first things that I made growl-wise in Serum. So this is a bit different from the original one that is in that song, but essentially the same idea. Combs filter, some filtering, automated stuff. Moving on. I've basically just changing the notes and the rhythms a little bit throughout the drop. And I have a little bit of that growl at the end of there as well. This is a different one. See how this one gets a bit lower. Yeah, this is a pretty fun sound. I am cutting it a bit short, so it kind of just has that beginning sound to it. A lot of my growls and basses have a similar sort of pattern of sound design and such. I did a lot of this reverb sweep in. That was just to kind of add in and fill sort of like the sections that really weren't playing out as much. So yeah, new basses here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off this reverb since it is very noisy. We have a spicy yoi. Yeah, this yoi was specifically made in this song. That's why I saved the preset as spicy yoi. Just kind of basic downsampling and compression, EQ, 2 sine waves, FM. And then the filter does most of the work. I mean, really, without the filter, you don't get the yoi at all. Using filters for yois is probably the best bet just to get that sound going. And of course, you can like change the filter so it sounds different as you want it to. So I can make that sound a lot more different than what it was. We have some new little laser sounds and stabs. Kind of goofy on its own, but again, it's just a layer. This is the main laser sound that I'm using for this part here. This is also just a preset, just an antidote preset. I did a little bit of my own editing, mixing and stuff. And then the last little layer to this, a little bit more of those lasery sounds all together. And then I did some rate modulation as well. Bit more of that growl. And then we have a new filler sound here. This one I did make myself as well. That's my own sound. Little effects going on here. Same kind of methods. I just did some slight variations to get the sounds. I wanted, of course, my own signature sound to my music, so I use a lot of the same techniques every time. And then this next section. So this part utilizes these sounds here, this sample. I kind of like let that shine. I really like the way that I was letting that call and response happen. It was very exciting for this part. I'm letting the sub kind of do some pitch work here, where it's going up and down. I could have done a bit more with that, where I had the notes kind of go all over the place, but I was kind of simple about it at the time. Again, when I say this is like a simple dubstep project, I kind of mean it. Yeah, it kind of just repeats itself a little bit. And as you can hear, it's different. Literally just modulating little bits of pitch bend and rate macros and stuff like that. Just little things here and there. I like how that one sounds. It kind of sounds like there's a different background sound I'm using in this part. Yeah, it's just that. Kind of has a bit of this like alienish sound to it. It's kind of cool. So yeah, more of that. I'm using a pitch bend for this effect. And then I get more of that just like rhythm change. And then back to the break and chorus again, or I guess it's a bridge. So I bring back that Reese, and then this part goes into the side trance. Now, to make this song kind of transition into that, I wanted to keep the Reese idea, and so I let it transition from this Reese into the side trance just by using a towel filter preset. Just kind kind of giving it that sort of flow to it. Again, it's just that sub bass, the Reese, and then this new Psytrance pluck. This is a bit newer because I actually wound up remaking this midsection. I did not like the way that this midsection sounded before. It was very dry and basic, and I wanted the Psytrance bass to sound a lot more full and exciting, so I went ahead and like remade it. Maybe it was like a few months ago, remade this part. So yeah, the Psytrance bass is kind of the main part of this. Automating all kinds of stuff, just using a simple saw wave and a sine sub, just automating a little bit of each separately. And I'm using a filter, mostly just to shape the sound. I mean, without the filter, you're really not going to have that Psytrance sound at all. So yeah, you want to add that filter to it, and then I'm just adding some hyperdimension and some distortion. I have a delay on here, but I took it off. I think this was because I wanted it to sound a lot more dry. With this on, it's a lot more noisy. And so I didn't really want that for this song. I went a lot more simple, added just compression, some extra EQ, also a filter, and Unity, just kind of keep it sort of mono under 125 hertz. I have the Reese and sub going along with it in the same kind of rhythm. So yeah, those work together. Not sure why I added it to this MIDI, but I also have this little Game Boy-ish sounding lead thing come in. And again, like all together. So yeah, just kind of progresses on. It goes from like Psytrance to Electro House. And then we get back into that chorus part with the same sort of Reese and sub from before. Okay, so this is the part in the video where I realized I skipped over something kind of funny, and I did not mean to. But in the first drop, I had actually used this one meme about Mr. Krabs talking to Squidward. So yeah, I wanted to cover that. I didn't want that to be left out. We love Boohoo, Mr. Krabs. Anyway, continuing on. The second drop basses. Again, since the second drop has a fake out, the basses kind of just lead in. So yeah, this drop has a bit more of my newer basses in it. I'm using a bit more of Serum 2 in this. I have a growl from Cyber City that I'm using in this. I just slowed it down a bit. Lots of little basses going on here. Same ones from before, but we have, of course, some new ones. This one, it's supposed to be inspired by Skrillex. I don't think I did as good as his growls. I don't mind it. This next part, it has like a little bit of these stabs going on. So yeah, these were from my Who Am I remix from early 2025, which would make sense because I was writing this song about the same time. And that sound is actually surprisingly a lead that I had just pitched down, I think. I'm just using this octave, pitching it down, and it creates an interesting effect with an FM. If you're FMing from a sine wave and you bring that sine wave down in octave, it changes the rate of the sample through the oscillator A. So it creates that sort of flow. I've done a few different presets using that technique. It's pretty fun. A little bit of a different growl here as well. We have some reverb going on. I love the reverb. Crazy wavetable. This is really fun to use. Just because you can get a lot of different little textures out of it. And I like to layer a lot of my sounds because each of the layers that I use are a bit silly on their own, but I think combining them all in the end, like all together, sounds a lot better than just it being like by itself. So layers are a good thing, base layers and such. I'm using more of those stabs. Again, turning off that reverb. The reverb is too much. I really would have turned this reverb down if this was me making the song today. Reverb does fill a track, so that's probably why this song feels so full. There's not like a million things really going on. Even if it looks like there is, there's really not. And continuing on, there's just... I'm pretty much just changing the rhythm of things. This one's a little different. I think it's kind of a copy of one of the other basses from before, but just a little different. Yeah, it's all about how you use the different layers and such, because you don't have to have like the most amazing sound effects or presets out there to have a good dubstep drop. It's all about how you use it and how you mix it. I'll definitely be writing more dubstep. I have an entire other dubstep EP planned for later. I'm still learning as a musician, even though I've been making music for 6 years plus. Technically, I started in 2019, but I'll say 6 years since I wasn't really writing real music till 2020. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different techniques I would have used throughout this. Oh yeah, I used to do this trick a lot, reverse reverb, where I would take like the sound that I'm using, like this lead, and then I would take the reverb from that and I would render it out as a tail, and then I would flip it so that it could rise into itself. Yeah, so this one's very fun. I did a lot of interesting shenanigans with this. A lot of reverb on this one again. I took the time of the delay. I had brought it down so it creates this pitching up effect into the buildup. And I had to, of course, change like the volume, because when you're doing these automations, it kind of changes the volume as it goes on. So I wanted to make sure this stayed kind of normalized the way I wanted it. But yeah, that's the main lead in this song. It plays here in the second part, and then I did a little bit of variation. Crazy little thing there. And that's it for the leads, really. Just the dubstep lead pattern. Big old lead sounds. With my main lead, I mostly use a lot of saw and triangle waves and some noise. And I just kind of shape them up with some reverb and dimension, just kind of stereo. This is just stereo expanding and compressing. So it sounds really big and loud, like it's being played out in a stadium or something. There is also a lot of chords in this song. So I'm just using this not initialized preset, but a new preset that I made for this song. Just some saws. Now, before you music theory critics laugh at my face, when I was writing this chord, I did not know a lick about music theory. I literally wrote what I thought sounded good. Plus, these are background chords, so the notes aren't as serious. More of a sound effect, like a background, rather than it is even like piano chords. Like piano chords are very different. These are a lot more basic and simple. I don't mind these too much. Yeah, and so for this build-up, I'm just using a little bit of frequency shift, modulating the mix. So it gives this rate effect. Kind of bubbly. I should have modulated this a little differently than how I have it. It's creating a little bit of a funky sound at the end there, but that's fine. I guess I had changed the chord sound for the drop. It just sort of fills in the background a little bit. They could be taken out of the song and no one would probably notice the difference. It's just filling the song out just a little bit more. I am using the intro ones for these in-between filler parts here, just to differentiate from the ones used in the drop. Yeah, the ones in the drop are a lot more like dry and flat. Like literally just for frequency filling, that's about it. The way they're filtered here kind of sounds like a nice pad. Arpeggios now, kind of my main staple thing about my alias is my arpeggios. to go over this a little bit, I did make this ARP from scratch just for this project itself, and I am automating a few parameters here. The main thing to know is that I'm automating the decay and the delay of the sample, so it changes over time. Also opening up the filter. Yeah, so for this chorus ARP, I'm using 2 layers. This one's just like a triangle sort of ARP. A little bit of unison and delay and reverb. Sorry, I'm a little tired. It's only like 2:30 in the morning. Yeah, I actually really like this ARP, and I am definitely going to use it some more. Love the way this sounds. Saving it for the big leagues. In this buildup, I'm still using that ARP. It still kind of just continues throughout. I'm letting it filter through and do some like frequency shifter action. And then the drop ARPs as well. And these are completely different. It's just a little 0.25 square wave. And I'm just kind of automating the pitch downward. And kind of a sidechain going on in there as well. And these break sections here, I'm bringing back like Arps and Reese and leads, it seems like. I actually put the leads into Arps. That's interesting. Sounds nice with all that reverb on it. So yeah, that's used, just kind of fill in the sections there and the drop. I think it does pretty much the same thing for the rest of the song. This filtering is just a little different. So yeah, pretty much the same thing. There is more little instruments as well. Another ARP. So yeah, all that craziness is coming from this preset, mostly Crystallizer. I kind of forgot I had this plugin. I should probably use it more. Very good plugin. Yeah, that kind of just leads up into the intro. I'm not like letting that one play out. It just goes into these plucks. It's a very nice chilling lead, and then I bring that intro ARP back, putting it into the break. And then this ARP actually plays in the outro a bit more. Nearly hard panning left and right. Just for more dynamic effect. And now on to the atmospheres. I have a tape deep noise sound effect. It's kind of getting filtered out, sort of to create this sweep sound effect. This was kind of my old way of doing that. So that goes along with like this sound effect here. And then we have a tape pad. It's kind of setting the whole melodic vibe of the song. It's another cymatic sample. I think I really liked using cymatics in this song. Just a little bit of a filter, reverb, and OTT. And then I used this other Cloud None sample, just a vinyl sample. I like me some good old vinyl. It's good for background effects and such. And some city ambience. I still use this sometimes. It's nice adding like little atmospheric samples so that your song kind of sounds like it's taking place in an environment. Just some crowd samples for the chorus. These have a bit of a high ring on them. I would have taken that out as well. They are not on a channel. They're just on sidechain. More of that fire crackle sound from the other channels that we were looking at earlier. Nice kind of ASMR. And then of course my signature riser, along with a few other risers. And this one. And that one definitely has that classic dubstep rising sound to it. I got some extra little stuff going on here. Sort of wind sound, tonal. Pretty chilling considering the theme of the song. It's a little ironic, but it's fine. I think it fits pretty well with the overall vibe if I like combine that with a few of these samples. Bit of that melodic content for the song. And then we have some of the drops, ambiances. Which is just the siren, of course. A lot of dubstep songs use that for build-ups and drops to bring up hype. And then also a tension string. This is another great thing to use with an EDM. Just a very high tension string. Now, this is optional. I didn't do it here. But taking the tension string and then raising this range up to maybe 12 and then slowly automating the pitch upward creates a riser sound effect. And I could have done that here. Didn't do it, but could have done that. Just make sure you're in stretch mode so that it actually rises up to that pitch without actually just time stretching. Crowd samples also used in the drop as well, of course. Gotta hype up that drop. And then just some extra little risers and the downlifters. So yeah, I would have actually gone in here and turned on declicking mode to bleeding. This helps to stop those pop sounds you hear. So you see how it does that. Sometimes with the new FL Studio like crossfading, you might have to do this manually. You might have to go in here and actually cut it like this for it to actually turn off. Sometimes the declicking mode does not work the way it should, but what it should do if it's acting normal is, let's see if we can get one to work. On this one, like declicking mode turned on to smooth, creates this smooth little outro for it. Very nice to use if you're just trying to make sure your samples don't pop at the end when they're cut. And yeah, just kind of all together playing those drop ambiances. Making that drop sounds really full. You want to make sure that with your ambiances that you might use in your drops if you're making dubstep or any genre is to take out that low sub bass. Just make sure that it's all like mids and high sort of frequencies and stuff, just so that it doesn't collide with your basses and such. So yeah, I don't know what else to go over. My first time just making a breakdown in general. I'm going to have a lot of fun trying to edit this. I hope that goes well and I don't have to re-record anything. That'd be nice. Making videos is a lot harder than it seems, and apparently so is organizing, mixing, and music in general, because there is a lot of things I would have done differently with this song had I known what was missing and what was wrong. We live and we learn, and I'm going to call it a night. I'm very tired, and you will hear me in the next one. Keep an eye out for new music. I have an album planned for about the end of the year. And I love you guys. I hope y'all have a blessed day and you will see me later. Yeah. I'm getting this like weird itch in the back of my head. It's so funny because like you actually can't. Like it's in a part of my throat. I literally cannot itch. It's so annoying. Even drinking water doesn't even fully help. That's a spicy.